The page I had my would you rather questions on decided to refresh, and now I don't remember exactly where I ended. I think I don't have a memory of having answered if I would rather have more time or more money. I think I definitely would rather have more time, because if I have more time, then I probably can have more time to make money. And sometimes I think, well, I should say more money. That way I don't have to do things to be wasting my time in the name of making money, but I think that's petty. I would rather have more time. Would you rather live forever or die at a normal age? I think dying at a normal age, but at the same time, I think that living forever would be cool to see the advancements, but depressing because that means that people you knew have died. And I'm not sure how I would deal with that exactly. Would you rather be personally fulfilled or professionally fulfilled? If anybody answers professionally, I'm so disappointed because I think that there's more to you than your profession. And I think that to begin with, you cannot be professionally fulfilled unless you have your personal matters together. Or you could be personally unfulfilled and yet professionally fulfilled, but that's the problem. It's costing you something. It's costing you too much, the way I see it. Would you rather know the date of your death or the cause of your death? I think I would rather know the maybe the cause of my death, because I feel like that could in a sense give me a heads up of when my death is imminent. But at the same time, the date of my death might make me a little too obsessed. I feel like this is one of those questions that I have seen before and I kind of go back and forth with my opinion. Sometimes I think knowing the date of it would inevitably change what my routine looks like. If it's in the near future, the first thing to go is going to be my job. I can tell you that much. I think that it would be practically better to know the date, but I think that just in case my death happens and I don't see it coming, I would rather know the cause. Like if I'm gonna die in a car wreck, then maybe when I am struck or whatever happens, I don't see it coming. See what I mean? The way my curiosity functions is I would rather know the cause, even though the date is the smartest thing to know. Would you rather be around negative loved ones or positive strangers? Unfortunately, I know the experience of negative loved ones in the same manner that I myself am aware that I can be a negative person to someone, but at least my negative thoughts are about myself and my perception. And if I'm criticizing someone else, I like for it to have a fundament behind it. Overall, I can say that I can dwell on positive things. I just choose not to because I like to be realistic and I like to think critically. Positive strangers. The problem with positive strangers is that you can be disingenuous and it is possible for you to be toxically positive. I probably should do a topic about my opinion on toxic positivity. It is a thing. And I think that my favorite way for anybody to bond with me is for us to bond over something deep, especially something that's negative or traumatic, and learn how to overcome it. Whereas positive strangers, sometimes to me, they are just not proper for me because I don't see how to bond with that. Sure, an experience can be fun, an experience can be neat, but I like to go deep with things. And if you're hanging out continuously in the realm of positivity, you become detached to the tragedies and realities that are going on out there. Sure, you can be aware of tragic things as a positive person. There is also the kind of positive person who refuses to experience negative things, negative thoughts, negative vibes. And I think that is an irresponsible thing to do. You have to be willing to do well with negative things. I think that to answer the question, I would rather be around negative loved ones because eventually those individuals, despite their current challenges toward me, how challenging they are to me, at least I know that once we overcome things, I remember why they're my loved ones anyway. And I know that there's more to the person than that. I'm not afraid of negativity. I've dwelt on it, I find my greatest satisfaction from resolving negative things. But I don't expect everybody to agree or be able to handle that. It takes a strong mind. Would you rather be really beautiful or really smart? Well, sucks to be you because I already have both. I personally always went with smart. I always went with the brainy path because I think that being smart is more productive and more important than being beautiful or attractive. And I think that beauty is something that is subjective anyway. If someone observes me as beautiful, but yet someone out there can exist who would perceive me as not beautiful, then boom, I lost already. But if I choose smart, a smart person is usually identifiable by everybody. I think that smarts get you a little farther. Would you rather live 10 years longer with regrets or die 10 years early with no regrets? This is a pretty difficult question. I think that I would rather die 10 years early with no regrets only because sometimes I think about when my life may be prolonged. If I'm 80 years old and I'm being allowed to live another 10 years, but I'm still going to be salty about some things. And on top of that, my body ain't gonna be working the same, my social circle ain't gonna be the same. I don't think that's attractive. I don't think I need to be around much longer enduring those circumstances. So I think that it's just better to just die early and have nothing weighing down on you. Would you rather visit the past or travel into the future? I undoubtedly struggle with this question because sometimes I think, well, I would like to see the future to see where we're at, but sometimes I like to go back to the past to see the things I didn't get to experience, get answers to questions I may have about the origin of things. And I think that exploring the origin of things is always key to conducting yourself in a better way to where you can build up for your present and your future. But practically, realistically, I think I would rather travel into the future just because there's some stuff that I'm eager about, some stuff that I wonder about, and I think that knowing my future would bring me more peace than knowing my past because the past cannot be changed. But if I know the future, at least I can brace myself for it and prepare for it. So at this time, I think I value more the future more than history. Would you rather fulfill your biggest wish or resolve your biggest regret? I think I would rather fulfill my biggest wish because my biggest wish is kind of tied to my biggest regret. So it kind of works out for me. But for practicality's sake, I think the biggest wish is just better to go with. And I'm really not someone who has a ton of regrets or a regret that's just too big to bear. But there is one thing that I just wish I could change a little bit and change it a little sooner. Would you rather be the boss of a failing company or an entry level employee at a successful one? I am an entry level employee at a successful business, but honestly, as someone who has a small business that by definition could be considered failing because sometimes I go months without any sales on it, I think that this is a question of would you rather be dependent but with everything taken care of, or independent but having to worry about where stuff is coming from, or how to take care of yourself. I like comfort, and although this deprives me of a degree of freedom, at least I can make adjustments to where I don't feel like this is too much of a burden and too much of a loss. So I think I would rather remain an entry level employee at a successful company because this is the wonder about me being a very simple person. As long as my very basics are fulfilled, I don't care. And what business do I need to invent that would be essential? The businesses that I have, there's other people already doing what I do. We ain't running out of clothes. We ain't running out of art and writing material or reading material or content creation. We're fine. Would you rather always be stressed or sad? I was born stressed and I've always been mostly sad. But if I had to pick one to rule over me, I would probably pick sad only because Sure, I have both stress and sadness, but at least when I'm sad, my mood and my reflexes and the way that I conduct myself is better than when I'm stressed. Because when I'm stressed, I start shaking, my stomach goes to hell, I can't sleep. Whereas sadness, it never kept me from sleeping, for example. And when I'm sad, I don't necessarily get hurt. Whereas when I'm stressed, I am susceptible to getting hurt. And I also believe that it wreaks havoc on the rest of my body in ways that, sure, sadness still messes with me physically, but it's not as severe. I'm gonna do one more. Would you rather pause this time in your life or fast forward through it? I think I would rather fast forward since my life is really predictable. Then I think I can just breeze by this chapter, and there's honestly nothing going on for me, maybe except for my youth and appearance, that I would really find worthy of pausing for. And the reason I say specifically youth and appearance is because I like that I can do the things that I do currently, and I'm afraid that as my appearance changes, so will, by association, I guess, the abilities that I have with my body, and I'm not looking forward to that. Well, that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like always, you are invited into sharing your own thoughts, and I'll see you soon.